What's going on, Brookie Nation? I did it different this time.
I thought you weren't going to say hi. I was like, oh no.
I just did something different with my hands and I freaked out.
Oh my gosh, I thought he wasn't going to say anything and I was like, I can't do this. I've been put on the spot.
What's going on, everybody? My name is the Mackie Mouse.
My name is Isla.
We are here with Storybrooke Circus. It is our Once Upon a Time podcast. We're watching the entire show one episode at a time. We are very excited to be here. We are here with season 2 finally. This is very, very exciting. We had our season premiere last week, episode 1. It was the single longest episode that we have ever recorded, ever. I mean, we only had 24, but
in The Bachelor, every single season, this is the most dramatic season ever.
Oh yeah,
that was our longest episode ever.
Yeah. It clocked in. We looked at the Apple Podcast page, and it clocked in at 4 hours and 29 minutes. Was how long that episode was, which is
what's
absurd.
even crazier? Some of you guys actually listen to the whole thing through.
Straight. Some people listen to it straight. I have confirmation of that, which is wild to me. And also, thank you for doing that, because
thank you.
That's
first
incredible.
and foremost.
Incredible that some of you would spend 4 hours out of the few hours that you are awake during the day listening to us babble into our microphones. But it's about a show that we all love together, which is nice that we share this. Speaking of which, I guess it's a good time to talk about other ways that we share the show. You can see us on YouTube. Hello, YouTube land. Hello, video that Isla forgets is on all the time.
I did forget it was on, but it was for a good reason. While we were talking about how some people actually listen to that 4 hour and 29-minute episode, I was making sure I had everything up here because I wanted to I wanted to talk about it on the air, but now I'm trying to find all of them. Oh, yes. I want to shout out Juju Beans.
Yeah.
I want to shout out Darth Mel. I would like to shout out Heather Lee and Miranda and Laugh Track and Agent Leo and Brookie Cookie. And and Caroline and Jonathan. And I don't think, and Philippa.
Tell us.
Okay, so I think I got everybody.
Tell us
but I'm
where
thanking
you're
everyone.
shouting them out from.
I'm shouting them out from our Discord because I gave everybody a little assignment. And if you're binging this and you haven't listened to last week's, I will not give the assignment away. But they all did their homework. So I just wanted to shout you all out over here on the pod. Thank you for joining Discord and thank you for participating in my little assignment. You all got A+, and you did a fantastic job. And that showed me that you listened to the show.
Oh, yeah,
so
that's right.
that means a lot to me.
That's right. They were supposed to... What are they supposed to do? They're supposed to...
I told you I'm not saying it because if you are binging it, I still want you to participate in the homework assignment.
That's right.
There's no due date on it. So if you're listening right now and you're
dates.
like, what the hell are you talking about? Did you listen to last week's episode? No, go listen to it.
I remember this. Yeah. So the very, very tail end of the episode. Almost the very, very end of the episode.
You had to get to 4 hours and 28 minutes.
Yeah.
To give you an assignment.
That's dedication right there. And make sure that like once the episode starts to trail off that you don't just skip to the next episode or else you'd miss it. Like it's kind of in our tail end stuff. Yeah, that's right. So yes, thank you everybody for participating, and we love to shout out people.
There's also a lot more conversation on the Discord besides that one thing, so also shout out for that because
shout out to the Discord.
This episode was so much fun to do, and it was so great that everyone had so much to say about it.
Yeah, they did. And
not us talking about literally the episode.
The episode, yeah.
Broken, like the curse is broken, as
like
you know where we are in the show.
Like they're still going back and forth about that and future episodes and whatever.
Yep.
It's wild. So yeah, we want to thank all of the people in the Discord for keeping it a fun party. Before we get into some more shout outs, because we love shouting at our listeners, we wanted to make you guys aware of something that we talked about it briefly, but we played around with this with the Snapchat filter. We created a Snapchat filter that was inspired by stuff that we were talking about. We made
we did this on the air.
We did.
And then after we finished recording, we hung out with Mackie's wife Taryn virtually.
And we
I don't know how round tabled this idea.
We did. We
Like,
brainstormed. We workshopped it, and it really worked out well. It is a tattoo filter. It is a face tattoo filter, so that we can give some homage to Isla's constant
For
desire
those
for a
with
face
commitment
tattoo.
issues, we made it a Snapchat filter instead of a permanent
Yeah.
marking on your body, which I would prefer.
We've continued to try and twist Isla's arm to not get tattoos on her beautiful face, and she's like, "But I want that." So I made a Snapchat filter instead, and it actually is a line from the show, so you can go check that out. If you search for price of gold, if you know how to search for filters on Snapchat, which always takes me like 15 minutes because it's in some weird buried place, you got to go find it. But if you know how to search for it, if you go to Explore and you search for price of gold, our very own Storybrooke Circus Snapchat filter comes out.
Yeah, so you can take a picture of yourself, save it, and we want to see it. So go post it in our
Yes.
Discord. We have a little selfie channel, or post it on your Instagram story and tag us,
Yes,
the SBC
even
pod. We want to
better.
see it. We want everybody to see your beautiful faces because we know this is an audio podcast, but we do half of it is watching. You can watch it on YouTube.
That's true. That is true.
And we want to put names to faces now. Like
Yeah.
this is great.
And it's season
What
2.
better way than with a face tattoo? Let's go.
with a once upon a time inspired face tattoo, no less.
For our main man, Rumpelstiltskin.
Rumpelstiltskin.
Like, ooh.
So it's season 2. It's we want to get the word out there. So if you can do, like,
We've
post
committed to this
pictures
now,
of yourself.
so.
Yeah, we're in it for the long haul. If you can tell your friends, if you can put up an Instagram story with our cool filter, we are working on an Instagram filter because obviously Snapchat is like Phil 2012. So I mean, Snapchat is the one that I knew how to create a filter for, so I just have to do a little bit of research and figure out how to do it since 13-year-olds are doing it. I can probably figure it out. But that doesn't exist yet, but at least we have something that you can kind of take on Snapchat and move over to Instagram or Facebook or anywhere. But tell your friends, tag us on Instagram. It's the SBC pod. And let people know that we're here so that we can bring more people into our little party that we have going on, the podcast and the Discord. And
one of our rookie city council members, Miranda, put it on her dog. Looked perfect.
She did.
Baby angel. So get creative. It doesn't just have to be your face. It can be your dog's face or your grandma's face.
Yeah, you can. You
Or
can
your
do it on
barista
anything.
at Starbucks. It doesn't matter.
You can do it on an action figure, on a doll, probably, if it sees the face. I don't know. I mean, I'm really surprised it caught an animal. It caught a dog. I was awfully surprised at that.
On like a porcelain
Yeah, like a
ventriloquist
porcelain
doll.
Yeah.
Like.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
or like a Barbie or something.
Yeah.
I bet if you get close enough, you can do it on a Barbie. Do people still have Barbies? Is that really a thing still? I don't know.
I mean, I do at my house.
Oh, all right. There you go then. So while we're talking about our lovely listeners that we are
Let's get to the best part of the show.
Sorry, I literally just got a work email that completely flatlined my brain. It's fine. Let's get into the show, like Isla said. Let's start with our segment dedicated to you, Storybook Daily Mirror. All right, so the Storybook Daily Mirror is when we like to talk about all the ways that you can participate in the show. You can interact with the show, not just with us, but be a part of the show itself. And there are many ways to do that. And as always is customary, Isla, how do the fine people of Brookieland submit to our fictional story newspaper, the Storybook Daily Mirror?
No, you submit it to the editor, and then the editor either approves it or does not. And
That is
he
how the newspaper
publishes
works.
it.
That's true.
He publishes it in the newspaper. So, yeah.
There you go. That's it.
But really, you can follow us on Instagram, like we said previously, the SBC pod. Send us a DM, tag us in a story, comment on one of our posts. We will either get back to you there or we're going to read it on the air. We have an email, which is the same, the sbcpod@gmail.com. Send us your ideas and questions and comments and concerns and novels to that email. We have a phone number. That phone number is 207.
I thought you were going to do it. I literally, my jaw dropped. 536-8512. 207-536-8512.
That phone number has voicemail capabilities, so call us and leave us a voicemail, or text messaging capabilities, which people have been utilizing, and we love that.
Yeah.
Send us your random thoughts as you're listening to the episode, compile them and put them in bullet points, whichever you feel is more comfortable for you, and we want to talk about it. If you have an opinion that you think is so different from what we said last week, let us know.
Yes, please.
We want to know what you think and how you interpreted the episode, because that's really important to us, and that's the space that we want to create here. That we have the reviews. If you think we are doing a good job, you tell us that we do good job. Apple Podcast has a review spot where you can rate us out of 5 stars. Please give us 5. And when you do give us 5, write something about it. Say, hello, Mackie and Nyla, I love you so much. I would like to listen to next week's episode. Please release it early. Bye-bye. And then you submit it, and then we read it on the air. And I will read it like a babushka, if you so insist.
That sounded kind of French. It was nice.
I don't know. Harper calls it my weird voice.
It's like generic
because I do
Europe.
it to her. And
it's like just vague enough where it could be a bunch of different European countries.
when you're so American that you just
it's all just one.
come up with anything.
I'm sure that all of their American accents just sound like Texas or Alabama, so it's okay. We all sound like cowboys.
Probably.
To anyone who's not from here. It's a cowboy or an Italian from New York. That's really the only 2 options. Or a Valley girl from California. It's just 3 people who live here.
Yes. So yeah, those are all the way. Oh, in the Discord. If you want to talk to us on Discord, the link will be in the bio.
Yes.
We would like you to join the party.
Yes. And at the end of the Storybook Daily Mirror segment, we will talk a little bit more about a place that you can go to get extra content if you feel so inclined. We do also have a Patreon of the same name, patreon.com/the SBC pod. And we have something that comes up in
smorgasbord of things.
We really do. It's kind of so we're still figuring out what it is. We have a main structure a little bit, and you know we have like movies we're going to talk about. We have extra content from episodes we're going to talk about. We also have a Lost podcast up there called Hatching Up with Lost, that we're doing the same thing that we're doing with Once Upon a Time, where we're just reviewing episodes. But we're also adding additional stuff to it now, where we're just like shooting random like Instagram stories, basically, where we just talk to you. We throw up videos of just like us doing stuff. So Isla's really killing it at that, and I am adding to it soon too. So there's a bunch of stuff going on. If you want to have more than just these podcast episodes, I don't know what could make you want more after 4.5 hours of listening to this crap, but if you want more,
if you come up with something, let us know, and
if you have suggestions,
we'll talk about it.
But please get in the Discord, because that's where we're at. That's where we're chatting. To get us kicked off, we have 2 wonderful email entries with various things. People, some people get intimidated by the voicemails, and I'm not suggesting that these 2 people are intimidated, because at least one of them has already given us a voicemail. But just so you know out there, if you don't want to do voicemail and you feel like you have a lot to say, but you don't want to have your, put your voice out there, totally email us. And if you collect your thoughts into like a big thing, like we have people messaging us bullet points from several different episodes, totally fine. That's actually an example of what we have today. We have a longtime friend of the show from the very, very beginning, one of our very first listeners, Agent Leo. He sent us a great email. It starts with, "Hi, Brookies, and our lovely magical hosts, Isla and Mackie. I like that he lowercased your I, but he capitalized the L. It kind of looks cool."
He gets it.
It's kind of like a cool, like,
he understood the assignment,
like a fancy version of it, which I really like.
Yeah.
All right, so he claims that this is ranting, but I don't think this is ranting. I think this is...
I know. SBC ranting brought to you by Leo. I think this is very beautifully written.
Like, beautifully organized. Like,
Yes.
Okay.
We're glad we're in agreement on that. This is not ranting.
This is not ranting at all. This is awesome. This is great. I love it.
How I handle this entire show is ranting. This beautiful.
That's true. All right. Let's see if we can... I'm just going to kind of breeze through this, and I might skip over some parts, but I'll give you the basic gist here. So it says, just like I watch a lot of TV shows. I learned so much from the Magic School Bus. In the show Lie to Me, it's brought up that foster kids, or kids in general. Sorry, I'm reading this incorrectly. I learned so much from the Magic School Bus is in parentheses. It's just making a point. Like, and also, by the way, when I read that, I read it twice, and in my head I was like, me too. Like, for a long time I was like, oh, I fully understand how the digestive system works. I've been inside Arnold's. Never mind.
Right. No, I agree though.
So he continues. In the show Lie to Me, It's brought up that foster kids or kids brought up in abusive homes learn to read people better and faster. They pick up lies and cues. Emma's superpower makes sense given her background. Writers, no matter what show or movie or book or anything, put effort into what they do. I always look for the reason why something is said and or shown or done. Isla said, why would she trust a baked good like that it was poison, right? So is that purposeful writing? He says, here are my 2 cents and a half. Are the writers purposely writing? Emma, that was just an extra space. Are the writers purposely writing Emma that way to make us question and discuss her belief to the point of obliviousness, which is, I'm going to pause there for a second. That is a beautiful philosophical idea. Like, and I've suggested this a few times on the show. Are the writers actually making us crazy and frantic on purpose? Are they trying to put us in an emotional state of instability so that when it pays off, it will pay off in dividends? You know what I mean? If they put us in a, like, think about villains are easy, right? They show you somebody, curling their evil mustache or cackling like a witch, and you go, that's the bad guy, I'm supposed to hate them. And then when you give them some kind of morality, right? Which we will get to a place, with Regina, and we've already seen it with Regina, where even the way that she treats Henry, like she's like, well, you can't argue that she does want to be a good mom, but you can't get over the evil thing. We've already seen in the last episode that Gold might probably really want to love Belle, but he doesn't want to give up the power. There's a lot of like, it's not that simple. And so sometimes getting us in a place where like, oh, I'm so frustrated because this character won't pick between these two things. Like sometimes that's on purpose so that you can feel that broken, divisive nature where it's like that struggle, like maybe they're making you have that struggle inside too, the way that they want you to feel that the character is. So
right.
That's very tricky and very, very risky, but sometimes writers do that. And they do it often in TV shows because you can A, write yourself out of that hole if you need to, where you don't have time to do that in a movie, right? And B, you can usually, if it's not working, you literally just change it into something else. Lost. You can just do whatever you want and just decide, yeah, it's not working, and just like make up a new thing and then kind of change tracks. You can't really do that in a movie. So I'll continue with his bullet. It's almost done. He says, all the evidence is there that even if you don't believe in magic, something is up. I've also said that before. Even with Emma's superpowers, is she really remaining blind and not able to see magic like the wooden leg, just as much as she's not able to detect, right, that something is up? Maybe I'm reading too much into this, but there's almost always a correlation between the Enchanted Forest and Storybrooke. Her Enchanted Forest self can't see magic, and her Storybrooke self can't see real evidence.
I don't think you're reading too much into it at all.
I think this is exactly the kind of conversation we wanted to have.
Yeah.
And it's something I bring up every single time I argue about Emma. I always want to validate the people who like Emma for everything that she's doing. We've got a lot of them in the Discord who are like, no, Emma's doing the thing that makes sense. And I'm saying, yes. And in certain cases, I'm arguing, well, I wish it was just like packaged differently and we got to the same place, but we just like the path that we took to get there was a little bit cleaner. But the certain things that are making us, the fact that we stop an episode and talk for 15 minutes on Emma's character and why she would do something like that that's actually evidence of good writing, I think, because it creates discussion. It creates counterpoints. It creates like one person sees it this way, another person sees it, her getting kidnapped and then feeling a certain way about it, read to you and me and everybody in the Discord all completely differently. That is actually a good fleshed out character is one you can't predict and one you can't put your finger on. If they're too predictable, it's boring. So the fact that we had 3 or 4 or 5 different interpretations of a single event with Emma, I think you're not reading into it too much at all. I think this is exactly what I would agree with you and think that's what they wanted us to do, is ask these questions.
Agreed.
I think fairy tales in general are designed to make you ask questions. What if, how? They're meant to make you inquisitive.
Right.
So I think this is the right way to tell a fairy tale soap opera as opposed to a traditional smutty kind of soap opera. You know what I mean? Like romantic soap opera. If you're reading into it too much, then so am I. Because I like to, break it down too. So we have another bullet that says, I am also part of the few that don't want this is a spoilers argument, and I like this. I'm part of the few that don't want spoilers, but I like your approach of saying this is the Titanic and we don't know if it'll sink. We do that sometimes, by the way.
That is how I watch every single movie because
We're
my
like,
dad.
I wonder what he'll do. Like,
My dad
we
watched
tease it
every
up
single
more.
movie. I don't know if anybody ever saw Iron Will back in
No.
the day. Oh my gosh, it's about sled dog racing. Anyway, every single time, if this is on the TV, my dad stops what he's doing and he watches this movie. If he sees the VHS, he goes, "Oh, we got to watch Iron Will," and we watch it. Every single time, this man has no idea if he's going to win the race. Every single time.
That's a great dad
And
joke.
it feels so genuine.
Right.
Like, he literally will be sitting there on the recliner, like, on the edge of a seat, like, oh my God, he's deep breathing. And I'm like, we know he wins. We've seen this every year since I was a bebe. Like, he wins, Dad. And he does. And my dad jumps up and cries, and it's beautiful. But, like...
That's kind of a great atmosphere to make, though. I like that the room then feels the tension. You know what I mean?
Every movie that my dad has watched, he watches it for the first time. Every single time.
Listen,
it's great.
Joey B. I want you to know
I
something.
do that, though.
I want you to know that I want to be that dad. I want to upset all my kids. I want to be that dad. Like, that's a great
how he is, and
template
I
for
do
me.
it now. The Titanic is a perfect example because every time I'm like, what if they just missed it?
Or if they just don't.
I'm like, what if they just don't hit it this time?
I wish that you could like choose your own adventure with movies where
Me
you could actually
too!
change. Like you could. I wish they could like somehow film multiple versions of choices, and you could like you watch the movie in the movie theater. Okay, guys, we're creating our own world here. Okay, where this is how the entertainment business works. They film basically like multiple endings or multiple paths to get to certain endings. Right? Only a few, like one or two. The movie theater version that you watch in the theaters, where that's exclusive to the theater, you can only see there, is the director's version of which path they think you should take. But then the alternates are for like when you do at home, when you're like Blu-ray or you're streaming, that the special features are like when a certain scene hits, you hit a button on the remote and then it like follows a new chapter path somewhere else of a different edit of the movie.
That.
How fucking cool would that be? Like as a project,
I would love that.
someone needs to do that somehow. It's just like coding chapters on a DVD. Or
Like I have some movies that are comfort movies to me, where they're comfort movies in the sense of I know what happens and I love it. Like it's one of my favorite movies, but it has like a sad ending. Perfect example is
The Fault in
Pay It
Our
Forward.
Stars. Oh, Pay It Forward.
The Fault in Our Stars. Pay It Forward is one of my like top 10 favorite movies, which is problematic now because of course it's starring fucking Kevin Spacey.
Kevin Spacey.
Rot, man.
Yeah,
He ruined so many of my movies.
Could do this one too. For Kevin Spacey. Carry on.
Like he ruined so many good movies. But I don't want to spoil it if you've never seen the movie, but I don't want that ending every time.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'm like, I could use a good cry and I'm going to cry it out. But then sometimes I just want it to miss him.
Yeah.
I just don't want that bad thing to happen.
And it doesn't have to be drastic. It could also be like little stuff of just like, I don't know.
Titanic is a perfect example. The fact that he said that, because that is one of those movies where I'm like, sometimes I just want them to live. Sometimes I don't want to watch the fight. I don't want to watch, Jack struggle to breathe and then he drowns. Why couldn't she just move over? There was like 27 different ways that she could have maneuvered herself so he could have gotten on the door.
Yeah.
Sucks. But so I do this in the show once upon a time, subconsciously sometimes, because sometimes I just want to forget.
Listen, I got to tell you, this mystery man doing it this time for season 2, episode 1, scene 1. Yes, we know who this guy is, but also giving it that excitement of like, you're not supposed to at the time that you watched that scene, you didn't yet. And even certain things like, this will come up a lot. Certain family tree things. There's going to be a lot of very close intertwining of family trees of who's related to who, right? And the idea that it is revealed in the spot that it's revealed in is important, and that order is important. And there's some things
we don't remember that order.
I don't remember at all. In fact, I only remember certain connections too. And as I keep reading in the wiki, I'm like, oh yeah, that's right.
I also think we admitted this, but we had no idea when August was going to admit that he was not Rumpel's son.
Yeah, that could have been a couple
that whole
episodes.
part, all of that was very genuine.
And we were willing. We
had
to pretend.
no idea. We were like, oh my god, maybe it really is. We knew it wasn't.
Yeah.
But like, we were caught off guard.
But I think too, we might have had to be like, oh my god, we have to pretend like this is This is balefire
Yes.
for like 3 episodes. Like, I don't know how long it's going to last. And which is cool because it's a good exercise in like, okay, well, if I did think that, how would I view this? Because you're going to look at it differently, right? Because even the whole Mystery Man thing, the only thing we knew is that he's in New York City. That's all we know. And that
we have no idea who this man is right now.
Yeah, and that
if he even has any, was this even supposed to be a part of the show? We don't know.
Yeah, I mean,
like, was that like from the show before Once Upon a Time started? We don't know.
He's also not a big name, so it's not like it's a celebrity. We're like, oh yeah, he's definitely going to be a guest star because it's friggin' Michael Douglas. I don't know.
And all we got was a pigeon carrier that said broken.
The pigeon carrier, yeah. Welcome to Storybrooke. It's like that's such cool like exposition. Anyway, Leo says, many of us have watched this show once or many times before, but don't remember everything. I find it so refreshing and entertaining to hear you say, will Emma break the curse later or now? Or when I say things like, if Emma ends up breaking the curse this way or whatever, will the curse break this season or the opening of next season? Like those kinds of things. He also calls out when Isla forgot whether Henry would eat the apple turnover or not. I really enjoy the suspense of unknowing. And some of those things we genuinely don't remember. Like I didn't remember if that's how it was going to go down. We did see in the promo that he would fall over and then kind of connected the dots. But, so certain circumstances in that unknowing, like whether it's planned or not, he said, I also forgot Graham comes back. Also, they didn't.
We did too.
Let
me tell you, we had.
And we talk about this often about credits. He points out that they don't show his name in the opening credits until after we see his face.
The second after, which is crazy and smart.
And that is very, very, very much intentional, like they do that on purpose. What else? Smacky Sir, I never say anything or return my food out of fear after seeing the movie Waiting, starring Dane Cook, by the way, and Ryan Reynolds.
Ugh,
this is when Dane Cook was in things. Remember that?
He's gross. No.
He said, this isn't what I ordered.
Ryan Reynolds, though, bae.
Oh, I love Ryan Reynolds, but Dane Cook is a little problematic. He says, this isn't what I ordered, I say in my head, but I'll take it. I'm with you. I totally do that. And it's not because of Waiting. I don't really think restaurants are spitting in your food, but I do think they really hate it when you do that, particularly if it's something fussy. Like I've gotten steak.
Also, would you do that in somebody's house? No, you wouldn't. So I don't know. That's my take.
So if I get a steak that's like, chicken especially, because that's dangerous. But like if I get, and I'm like, that's under health code. And I'm just like quietly like, hey, can you mind not poisoning me and just making a chicken? Like, so I'm like, that's so different. Quiet.
But if you're like, if you just don't like something, or like, if it's the side that's wrong, I've gone out to eat with people where they're like, they gave me Brussels sprouts instead of broccoli. I'm sending it, and I'm like, it's a green.
If it's something, so we went to Denny's the other day and had breakfast, and
my gosh, you are brave.
Okay, Denny's in Florida are the jam. It's like a 5-star restaurant. And there's 3 separate Denny's we've been to here, and they're all beautiful, and the food is amazing. And let me tell you something. When I first moved down here, I was like, oh, this is like Denny's, Friendly's, all those like weird Midwestern, like they seem busted to me.
Don't come for Friendly's on me, thank you.
Love ice cream, but I don't know if you've been to a Friendly's in Ohio. It's some rough business. I'm just saying.
They're from Springfield. Friendly's is from here.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, the headquarters is in Springfield, Massachusetts.
That's interesting.
It's from here.
I'll be a little.
And the barbecue chicken super melt is the bomb diggity, and the chicken skewer dippers, top notch. I think slander I will not accept. Go Ohio. No.
I think that's a perfect example of kind of what I mean. Like the Ohio one is jacked and busted up and weird, and then yours is beautiful. And like the Denny's, all the Denny's I've been to in like the other parts of the country were like busted up like that, and then here
very scary.
They're like gorgeous and beautiful lights, and like the one that's the closest to our house. We went there for dinner one time because it was literally like walking distance from our apartment. And one time we were just like, I don't want to go anywhere. And Denny's is 24 hours. Let's just like, it can't be worse than not eating. So like we'll brace for some rough sauce and we'll just go in there and take it. He made one of the best cheap cuts of steak I've ever had in my life. Now it wasn't the best steak I've had in my life, to be clear. But
it
like
is Denny's. Let's
if
set
you're
the
gonna
bar
take
here.
like a cheap cut of meat and then make it brilliantly, I'm like, I'm paying attention. And the cook from the kitchen was like shouting to our table, because we were like one of 3 people in there at like 10 at night. He's like shouting to our table if we liked it or not. And I was like, dude, this is seriously really good. And he like came out and talked to us and was like, yeah, it's like my recipe and like I spiced it myself and I'm so glad it was like the most amazing Denny's experience I've ever had. And I was like, this is weird. We're in are we still in a Denny's? Like, what's going on?
Damn, I went to Denny's at like 6:30 a.m. on a road trip once, and I ordered buffalo tenders.
Bro, the road trip ones are rough.
That's my Denny's experience. Was a road trip 6:30 a.m. buffalo tender meal.
I wish you had time when you
the respect that I had for myself was in the literal negatives.
In the gutter.
Like the waitress came up and was like, "What can I get you?" Expecting me to order like a bacon, egg, and cheese, and I was like, "Can I have some buffalo tenders? And do you have any blue cheese? Can you put that on the side,
we
please?"
haven't even opened the buffalo tenders yet. What are you talking about?
I literally was, and then she was like, "What do you want to do?" Like, she was so pissed. She was so done with my bullshit. She was trying to get off her shift, and I was like, "This is what I want." And then she was like, "What do you want for a drink?" And I was like, "I'll have an orange juice."
The ultimate hybrid breakfast.
So if I ever thought that I got my food spit in, it was at that meal.
Okay, well, I don't necessarily think that restaurants are really doing that. I think that's just...
Mackie's like, I'm not faulting the waitress. You're disgusting.
Listen, I don't judge anybody. I am a weird cross sauce dipper that most people that I go out to eat with really can't stand. Really? Dude.
Are we shocked?
I was going to say, the extent to our twinness is absurd. Anyway, I don't really think that, sending things back like that. But when I do it, I think it's about your attitude. When I do it, I always make sure it's like, would you mind? Like, I'm very kind of try to be polite. Like, so the Denny's that we went to, my story was that I ordered, eggs over easy and they gave me scrambled. And I was just like, and here's the thing I always do is I made a solid effort to look at that and go, could I live with scrambled? Like, maybe I'm just fine with it. And I just it's cool. And I literally just went, I think, and as soon as I put my finger out, she was like, oh, you sure did. You ordered this other, and she snatched it as fast as I could even get words out of my mouth. Like those kind of situations, I'm like, okay, well, it's fine. Like it's just it's an honest mistake. I'm not saying like you don't like what's going on back there, and I didn't. It's this entitled nature I think to it. I don't even know why.
Take it off the bill.
Yeah. The take it off the bill stuff is that's
don't do it.
Yeah.
Would you do it at somebody's house? No.
Yeah. Nah. Anyway.
I don't even know how we got on this right now.
I don't either. The next bullet is about something in the future, which is the only reason why I'm hesitating right now. So I'm just trying to skim ahead to make sure that I think this is okay. All right. So it says this right here is the main thing, or what I really wanted to share. I've asked my friend to watch this podcast with me, but she said she didn't have time. Well, she's in season 4 right now. I love the progression of that. Like, she said she didn't have time, and haha, I got her to watch it, which I love. Because I peer pressure my friends into doing stuff too. That's why we have.
And then skimming over, because he does talk about referencing things that happen in season 3.
But it's not like a thing that we can even identify. It's just a line.
Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah. But also, thanks for skimming along while I was keeping the people busy.
I have it pulled up just in case.
Guys, we take care of each other on the show. We like to have each other's back. He says, I asked her to remember when someone says a reference or check the book. I'm assuming he means the storybook. There are more, but this one I'm sure is in season 3, episode 21. Emma says, here, let me show you it's in a book. I'm assuming that's a Reading Rainbow reference.
26 minutes and 43 seconds.
I hope it's a Reading Rainbow reference because that's hilarious if it is. It's in reference to the MVP and the LVP and honorable mentions. A true believer came to mind. Oh, interesting. He's
this is his idea.
Category as true believer.
Almost every single there's a character or person that knows or believes what should happen. It could be a person character knowing that there are two protagonists being together despite their denial or obliviousness of it all. Henry is the real true believer. A true believer, he still has his doubts, but really believed. Believe it or not, knowing with 100% certainty. He almost always pushed the plot forward. Just like August and him eating the apple turnover, he knew what he needed to be done. And he said, as Mackie said, Henry forwarded Emma in the plot by forcing her into a position to save the day. Henry wins the True Believer Award for every episode for the rest of time because I love him so much.
Interesting. We can see if that fits because I don't know if we... I mean, maybe it's not just a true believer in magic specifically, but like believing in another character, like Charming believing in Snow's ability to blah, 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 I think still forwards the plot in a way, because that belief in the character strengthens them and maybe
Or
enables
belief
them.
in the right decision.
That feels
like,
yeah, exactly. Like it feels like the sports equivalent of an assist is not the person who scores, but it's the person who made the score happen. I think is a true believer could be that version of that. All right, I buy it. That's cool. I like that. Fun fact in case any of you don't know, the director of the pilot will forever collect royalties for every episode after that, even if they don't participate in anything after that. Bryan
How do
Singer,
I get a job as a pilot director?
You got to be a good director for that. Bryan Singer directed the
Incredible.
pilot episode of House. They usually bring in a well-known director in film or television to do pilots. It also helps to sell the series to a network. They also set the tone, photography, lighting, and everything for the rest of the show. Can confirm. For the people, our brookies who like The West Wing, we made a little West Wing channel in our Discord, and we had a little bit of a discussion about that. A guy by the hilarious name of Tommy Schlamme is the executive producer of The West Wing. Tommy Schlamme is also a director, so he directed the pilot. So that's kind of interesting that he was already involved in the project and already had kind of a stake in the project and took that first direction because they were creating the show together, he and Aaron Sorkin and a couple other people. So they talk about on the West Wing Weekly, which is the podcast associated with the West Wing. Fantastic, by the way, for those West Wing people out there. The West Wing Weekly is amazing. They interview him. They interview actually a lot of people on the show, but they interview him, and when they bring him and Aaron onto the show, they talk about that. They talk about how they created that thing that is always made fun of, Aaron Sorkin's like quick-witted writing, that back and forth, like no space in between, Claudia Jean, CJ, the press secretary, always like snapping back and forth with Toby and all that kind of stuff. Tommy and he kind of created that, and the walk and talk, which is widely used in television now. It's kind of one of those office scenarios where you don't really think about where the origin of the like Jim Halpert looking at the camera kind of thing is, but that's kind of where it came from. The walk and talk, by literally having two people have a dialogue and move through different rooms of the set on a single take or very, very short takes, like only 2 or 3. That was created during the West Wing for the most part. I mean, it happened before, but like they perfected it. They made it famous, and that was Tommy Schlamme's idea. And so to have a really good
that's really good
director,
TV to me. I love watching shit like that.
Fantastic. Like it's so difficult to execute too. But the fact that he kind of is the creator of that, I told you before, directors of television shows just let the show happen, and they just kind of facilitate what's already in motion. Well, it can't already be in motion if it's the first episode. So that director has to kind of like really set the tone and really set the like atmosphere and the
royalties for the entire show.
I think that's why, because they're kind of responsible for like the whole rest of everything.
Who directed the first episode of Grey's Anatomy?
Got it. I'm on it.
We are on season. Meredith should have died 6 seasons ago, and the show should have ended 6 seasons ago. So I can't imagine how rich these people are.
Oh my God. All right, let's see. Grey's Anatomy episode. The creator is obviously
Shonda Rhimes, obviously.
Shonda Rhimes, OG. Let's see.
She is a sadist.
Why? So mean.
Wow.
Episodes. Here we go. Episode season 1. Episode.
All the way back.
Wait, is this the last episode or the first episode? That is the first episode. A Hard Day's Night. Yes?
Yep.
Director Peter Horton.
Okay.
Peter Horton is an actor. He has 54 acting credits.
Wow.
That's kind of impressive. He's got more acting credits than directing credits. He's got 24 directing credits. That's very odd. Let's see. Before Grey's Anatomy was The Shield, but it was only 3 episodes.
That's interesting.
Oh, but it was the first ones though. It looks like it started.
Really?
Oh wait, is that right? No, it was second season. Interesting. We're finding out a lot about the industry here. This show
is like groundbreaking. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Grey's Anatomy is a household name.
I mean, it depends.
That's just the biggest and like one of the longest shows, I think. Like The Simpsons is another one that's just been going on for
35 years or whatever.
The beginning of time, apparently.
7 Brides for 7 Brothers. That was the 80s. I'm looking 30 something. There's little stuff here and there, but nothing huge. Brimstone.
Interesting.
Gina Davis show. Ugh. Naked Brothers Band. Oh, that's an ass.
What? The Naked Brothers Band?
He played Peter Horton. He played
Long
himself.
distance relationships will kill you.
Yeah, Grey's Anatomy is very much so his biggest credit here. The Wonder
That's
Years.
crazy.
One episode of The Wonder Years in 1989.
How did is he like sleeping with Shonda? Like how did he get this role?
But it looks like Deception I'm seeing here. I've never heard of this show, but the pilot Ironside 2013 pilot. So yeah, I mean, he's definitely an industry guy. I just don't know.
Okay.
It doesn't look like the traditional big one. He also doesn't look terribly familiar either.
No.
Very strange. It says that he's known for New Amsterdam, which was 2018, American Odyssey, and Grey's Anatomy. Those are his 3 biggest credits. He was previously married to Michelle Pfeiffer. Odd piece of trivia. Very odd.
What?
This is why we never get the show
This is
done,
a
guys.
weird rabbit hole.
We're just chilling and having fun right now. This is how we go. We're not even done with Leo's yet. That is actually a really dope point that you brought up, though, about these royalties and Bryan Singer. This is really. I love that industry nerdy stuff. So it's kind of cool. I'm all for that memorandum with the Hunger Games.
I am too.
Effects.
Honestly, that's probably going to be one of the funniest things we ever do. But.
Yeah, we're definitely doing that. Do you think that when Snow was reading out of the book that was the actual script or screenplay sounded like it might be when Henry was in a coma?
Yes.
Occasionally I would say not. I mean, not necessarily. They're very good at like knowing their line. I don't need it for the lines. In fact, so
I think it's the actual original Snow White.
Oh, that's possible. Yeah. I mean, very famously, like stuff like that, if they know they're not going to shoot in it, like set people will write weird stuff in it, like jokes. Like they'll like draw pictures in the corners and stuff if they know they're
When
not gonna
I
be in it.
was doing a musical, Big Bad Musical, don't know if you've ever heard of it, but it's about fairy tales actually. I was the evil stepmother. I was the lawyer for the Big Bad Wolf in the case against all of the fairy tale characters.
That's hilarious. I love that.
But me and the wolf, Rachel, were super close, and I had a briefcase that I was a lawyer. I would bring it out, and I had to like write notes, and we would just talk shit about everyone because we thought we were so much. This was the 8th grade also. So literally like during all of our rehearsals, we're just talking shit like, oh my God, like she's so annoying, like blah, 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 blah. And on our last show, we had to turn in all of our props, and Rachel and I forgot that we left our shit talking journal in my briefcase. So it lives somewhere in the middle school theater department. All of this, like names.
God.
We put names, and like our names were on it because we're like obsessed with ourselves. Like we were so narcissistic. Like we.
That's amazing.
I would like to shout out whatever kid found that in whatever production years later. I haven't been in that school in a really, really long time, but I imagine that they opened it and they're like, wow, these fucking bitches. Like they were like, we were mean because that's what girls did in the 8th grade.
Oh my God.
So I always think about that when I see people like reading something or writing something down. I'm like, I wonder if they're talking shit.
So like in 12th grade in high school, I was Jekyll and Hyde in said musical Jekyll and Hyde, and a lot of scenes in that he's writing in his journal and verbally saying what he's writing. And my best friend played Jekyll's best friend in the show. Played his friend like like another doctor. Oh no, sorry, his lawyer. His lawyer is his friend, his confidant, who would come in and be like, try to talk some sense into him. So every day before the show, he would steal my journal and write weird, horrible things. So that and every day, so this is what they used to do to me. He would write some weird shit in there and I would open it up and he'd be like, this is also 2005. He'd just write in giant letters like, you are a homo or some stupid thing that I would try not to laugh at.
Yes.
Like, something
the friggin'
really,
S.
Oh yeah. He would write, or sometimes he'd write like whole paragraphs of just like, you should feel bad about yourself because your haircut is stupid or some stupid like weird stuff that would make me laugh that I would have to keep a straight face and be like, day 17, the serum is not working or whatever. And then the director who found out about that, instead of getting mad, decided to get in on the prank and would spike my serum that I would drink for Jekyll and Hyde with different flavors of Red Bull every show that I was not aware of until I kind of got wise to it. So yeah, they used to play pranks on me like that all the time.
Oh my gosh, that's awesome.
I will never forget opening because there were a couple times where they broke me where I'd open the journal and I'd have to close it again and like take a minute. Like,
yes.
Yeah, they got me full like Jimmy Fallon cracking during tech rehearsals where he would.
That's
draw weird pictures
awesome.
and, yeah. But so that's I do often think about that too. Like stage is easy because no one's gonna see it. On film, there's always a chance someone's gonna want a shot, so they don't do it as often.
It gets picked up somewhere. Yeah, exactly.
Let's see.
We're theater people though,
we
so
are.
like we're not used to that.
Through and through. Shout out Jonathan from Georgia. We have quite a few theater people in our rookie club. I'll leave you with this question. My friend that I mentioned before said that I love this one. Only bad or evil magic comes with a price. This was brought up because the Blue Fairy, he wrote in parentheses, I've always had a crush on Keegan. Bro, same. She's beautiful. I feel you. Turned Pinocchio into a real boy after drowning, and the price, like what was his payment? He had to remain a good boy, right? So he abandoned Emma as a kid when Emma was an infant, and that's why he turned back. So he said the quote is, all magic comes with a price, not just sinister, manipulative, bad magic.
He is exactly. All magic comes with a price.
Well, in
the real world too. Even our not real magic.
Like
you know what I mean?
Magic, like our like quote unquote magic.
But it's true.
Yeah, 100%. Like, what's the price?
It's like that movie, The Box.
Mm-hmm.
Did you ever see that? It was a thriller movie. Oh my gosh. It was, received a box like on like your doorstep and you opened it and you would get like $1 million or something crazy, but someone you didn't know would die.
Oh, yeah.
Would you take the money and let that random stranger die?
Yeah. I mean,
and then you would find out it was somebody like that knew you through like one of the 7 layers of.
Right. Yeah, I think
I think so. I think what that friend might be referring to is like, there are people using magic, right? Like if you use magic to jumpstart your car or move a picture to the top of the wall, right? That's not going to be, you're not going to like have some kind of bad luck that happens later in the day. No.
Like it really isn't all magic. It's like, I think the
big magic.
I think the magic to manipulate, right? So like I want magic to change my luck. I want to use magic to keep something from happening or make someone fall in love or something like that. I think throughout all of magic lore, think Harry Potter, I was just reading something about like Voldemort, when they really dig into like the meat of the 7th books or book, gets really into like a lot of flashbacks and filling in all these gaps that you've never had, but it's a lot of information. And some of that was about his parents, and his mom cast a love spell on who eventually became, like, they were young and she had a crush and she cast a love spell on this guy and then never broke it and then had a kid with him. And the reason why Voldemort is so screwed up and can't have any emotion and can't feel love is because he was a child born out of a love potion and not a real like emotional bond, and that's why he's a villain. So but the idea behind that was the price of getting this guy to fall in love with her was he would never really truly be in love, and then they had this kid who was going to be now broken forever. That's kind of part of the price. So she basically took the love, like let the love potion wear off and told him the truth, and he left, both her and the child, because he was pissed off and whatever, and he was being manipulated. So he left. And so he had no father also in the beginning. So it became this like, well, you got what you wanted, but it's not free. Like there's a lot of that kind of, you know, repeated motif in magical entertainment where
Deathly Hallows is that entire story.
Yeah. Like you can get what you want. You can have the Elder One and have all the power in the world, but it's going to come at the price of like, you know, these bad kind of omens and stuff happening. Anyway, all magic comes with a price. I think is more of a principle.
All magic does come with a price.
It's more of a like, you know, what is it? Good guys finish last. Like that's not true every single time. It's more of a kind of idiom, you know, I think, and that Rumple uses to illustrate points. So I can understand what the friend was talking about, that it does seem like it's the stuff, it's the intention, bad intentions, like using magic with bad intentions.
Also, where the hell is August?
He's been missing for a while. So he is he
just laying in the bed at Granny's?
Yeah, I don't think we've resolved August yet, because the last we saw he was fully wood, and we haven't gotten to him yet, and he hasn't come out. So actually really soon we're going to find out how he knew to come to Storybrooke, which is one of my favorite stories that is a little bit losty. You know, it has a couple lost spoilers.
Oh, and Leo ends with,
oh yeah, that's right. Please do.
Stay gold, stay rumple.
Stay gold, stay rumple as a separate bullet item, almost as if it's like a line item to talk about. Yeah,
it's a statement.
So the next email that we have is super awesome.
I'm ready to get into this one.
Do you want to read this one?
Yes.
Okay. This is super exciting, guys.
All right. Oh my God. I'm gonna say. Can you help me? How do you say it?
It's Nella, I think. Nella.
Nella. Correct me. Nella, correct me if I'm wrong,
Nella.
Please. I need you to.
Okay.
Hey, Isla and Mackie, I finally.
Go ahead.
What?
Yeah, you're good.
I finally managed to write you after I had forgotten it over and over again. So I'll just start. Welcome. My name is
Nella.
Nella. And I'm listening to you from a place near Berlin in Germany.
Oh.
Guten Tag, Nella.
Oh, my freaking claps went away.
Oh.
That's unfortunate. I want to fix that while you read. I'm gonna go fix that, but we'll do the mini claps for now.
Please understand, we love that you live in Germany. That's so
like the coolest.
So freaking cool.
Like seriously, like so far we have Yucatan,
UK,
Mexico,
Yucatan, Mexico, UK, Germany.
Did we establish Spain or not? Did I make that one up? I don't think
you made that one up.
I did make that one up. Okay, so we have Mexico, UK, and now we have Germany. So we have a nice spread of international listeners. Thank you so much for also like not just listening, but also for reaching out so that we know that you're there.
I love your podcast. It's like when I waited every week for a new episode of Once Upon a Time. That makes me really happy. For me, you decided at the right time to make the podcast because the Disney Channel Germany decided a few months ago to show Once Upon a Time instead of This Is Us on free TV. This is German to me. I honestly don't know why, because Once Upon a Time hasn't been very successful here, but apparently the same applies to This Is Us. Wild, because This Is Us is huge over here in America.
Yeah.
Anyway, I thought to myself, I have nothing to do on Mondays at 8:15 p.m. Why 15? So
very
why
odd,
shouldn't I watch Once Upon a Time? And I love the fact that it's broadcast at 8:15 p.m. Honestly, wow, 8:15. That's when the curse was broken. How?
What? Maybe they did that on purpose.
I don't know.
You think so?
I don't know. You're onto something, Nella.
That's awesome.
Since I couldn't watch only 2 episodes per week, I decided to binge watch it. After that, I needed more of my favorite show in my life, and I found Storybook Circus.
Yay.
You two really bring that old magic back into my life. Thank you for that. Wow. Now to a few questions that were asked during the podcast. I watched the first 3 seasons in German. Oh, good. This is a huge question for us. We love to know what language you're listening to.
Yes, we do. Yeah, we talked about that.
I watched the first 3 seasons in German on a channel called Super RTL. After season 3, more or less, I had to switch to English because Once Upon a Time was broadcast as follows. 1 year after it first aired in the US, 2 episodes per week, 11 weeks in a row, followed by a 40-week break.
Holy moly.
That was too long for me. Me too. That's an entire year.
So you like binge through the show and then you just take a year off.
Fortunately, I found a YouTube channel that uploaded complete episodes after they aired in America. But it was split into scenes.
Yeah, YouTube does that. The people do that to hide from the copyright algorithm.
So from then on, I watched Once Upon a Time, not episode by episode, but scene by scene, and I still loved it. You are so dedicated to the story, and I really love that for you.
Okay, I'm gonna give you a round of applause. Yes, okay. It worked. Okay, I just need to check to make sure it worked. But also a round of applause for being dedicated. Carry on.
For me, I can say that the show is better in English because some of the things get lost in translation and the voice acting is much better than in German. I don't know if you're familiar with the cliche that German language sounds so aggressive. Yes, I married a Polish family, so it's the same. For me, it's pretty much the opposite. When I switched from English to German, it sounded emotionless and boring. I'm pretty sure it's not the voiceover. It's just the way Germans speak. Huh. I wonder if it's the dictation and, you know, like the delivery.
I don't know if you've ever heard of Chris D'Elia. Ever heard of Chris D'Elia?
We don't speak his name.
You're not a Chris D'Elia fan. He does have a bit.
I mean,
in one
are
of his...
you a Chris D'Elia fan?
Okay, we've talked about this before. I'm a comedy fan, and I follow very, very little of people's personal shenanigans when they're doing stuff, mostly for this reason, because then I feel like I have to hate them. No, I get it.
He's a predator.
I get it. I totally get it.
He is the character that he played in You.
And so here's how I deal with that is I watch old stuff before I found out about that, but I don't support like anything after that point.
Fair. Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Continue.
Because I already liked those specials, you know?
I will allow.
Yeah, and I feel like that
I still watch old Kevin Spacey movies. I will.
And I still watch old Louis C.K. specials, but I wouldn't watch like a new one.
I will let you. Okay, I will let you proceed.
He has a bit about Germans and Russians and like accents and like what they are, and he actually talks about the fact that Germans, even though the German what do they call them? When you close off vowel sounds, they're very like,
I don't know what that's
like
called,
very,
but
yeah, it's called something. It is that sounds aggressive, but everything, like all of the way that the phrasing and the tonality of it is like they don't give a shit about anything. He actually points that out, that it's very that Russians and German in particular, both those languages are
the Polish
a little bit,
language is also like that.
Yeah, it's very,
all of the middle words seem like they're unimportant to the sentence,
which is funny because Spanish sounds like a song in that every word in the sentence is a different tone, goes up and down like this. So I have heard that it's aggressive, but this does actually track that it would be emotionless and boring because that actually does make sense. The full, context of everything.
Right. She continues, by the way, Lana Parrilla has the same German voice as Angelina Jolie, which confused me a bit.
They must have a very like a low amount of like really high-end VO people. They only have so many. It's kind of interesting.
However, there are two reasons why I occasionally watch the German version. Imagine to just be so bilingual that you can just pick up whichever you feel like that day.
Dude,
like
people who are not Americans are like the real OG human beings. Like we're the worst. We don't do it. We're so lazy.
I know. It blows my mind. This happens with Bart all the time. Like I'll be like, what did you dream about? Did you dream in English or Polish? It's like,
what is it like in there? Oh, there's a whole TikTok world if you're interested.
Language blows my mind.
People who talk about like what is it?
And what blows my mind is that America is so bad at it.
Yeah.
Like first of all, English sucks.
It's the worst.
It's a terrible language.
It's really the worst. Anyway, we digress.
Okay. There's a joke in season 4 with poison and antidote. This is not a spoiler, so we can continue.
It's just vague, yeah.
In my opinion, it is better in German because literally translated, it would be poison, which means gift, and against poison, which means gift, which means antidote. The scene would be like, against poison? Against what? Against poison. So that's funny. It's just like...
Oh, I get it. Like against poison is hyphenated.
Cusco's
so like...
poison. The poison that killed Cusco.
Yeah. It would be like antidote. Against what? Like anti-poison. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, literal translations.
The second reason is the polite form that exists in German. This is particularly interesting because with Jefferson, because he is the only character who doesn't use it, no matter who he's talking to. But it's also very interesting to see what Emma and Regina use the polite form to talk to each other and when they do not.
Oh, yeah. It's the English equivalent of sarcasm. Like we do things with tone. A lot of languages, French, German, in some cases Spanish, not as much. The Romance languages not as much except for French, but like Mandarin does it. There's like these little tiny, the same word, but like accenting a different syllable makes it completely a different context. Or there's a lot of like French stuff where like if you go out and you use those phrases, they like French people will hate you because you're using we don't know, but you're using an informal version of it. Would be the equivalent of you walking up and like really tightly hugging someone you don't know instead of giving them a handshake. It's like the language equivalent of that. So there are quite a few languages that do that. And it's very cool to see how they translate English into, English doesn't have that. So let's split these two pieces of dialogue up into, it'll be this for one way.
English is garbage.
It's really strange. Yeah. Language is a really interesting subject, like linguistics.
And then she moves on to answer some of the questions that we've been asking throughout season 1.
Yes.
The curse. She would almost immediately believe in the curse. And the way that she explained it, I completely agree with what she's saying. If someone came to me and told me that such a book tells a true story, I would immediately pack my things and drive to this place, but I'd still look for more evidence.
Yeah.
Fully agree. Yeah. I think that I'm on the same track.
I think I would be optimistically cautious,
Yes. But let's be honest, look at the names that appear in the book and in Storybrooke. This has to be proof for Henry's theory. There was a picture of Emma's baby blanket in the book with her name on it. Regina has the same name in both worlds, plus her last name is Mills, and the book says that she's the daughter of a miller's daughter. What a coincidence. We also learn later that Henry's full name is Henry Daniel Mills, which Emma should know. Since Regina didn't know about the book until Emma's arrival in Storybrooke, it's impossible that she named Henry after characters from a book. Conclusion, reading the book and being in Storybrooke would have been enough proof for me.
Yeah. I think for a lot of people. And that's kind of one of our primary anti-Emma's being too much arguments. That like, girl, you had quite a bit of evidence to be putting up this much of a fuss. Yeah, I get if you're skeptical, but like you're acting like
a hard no.
Yeah. It's a little too aggressive, I think, which might be a character thing. It might just be Jennifer Morrison's, way she speaks.
And then she talks about one more thing, which is later in season 2. I'm just reading it a little bit more just to make sure.
I read this one. It is kind of irrelevant until we really get there, so I think it's fine.
Okay. Just wanted to check.
Because there's no context.
See a land without color. There's a letter in which the sender mentions a country from the land without magic. Now, the question is, how can a letter from the land without magic get to the land without color? And why is Rumpelstiltskin able to travel from the Enchanted Forest to the land without color, but unable to go to the land without magic, while a letter can travel in between worlds?
So really, spoiler-wise, forget all that stuff. Really what we're talking about is if we're thinking about like things traveling between not magical worlds, but worlds in general. Like we know that there are realms, right? There's like the Enchanted Forest and Storybook, and there actually are more beyond that. So can things travel between them? And if so, are there like boundaries / restrictions?
What are the rules? Because the rules are very loosey-goosey in a lot of situations, which we learned and have learned.
Well, she put in some examples here, which is actually kind of nice.
Yeah. And then fitting to this topic, I have read something about Once Upon a Time. It's extremely hard to travel between the worlds unless you grow magical beans, are a mermaid, get caught in a random magical twister, cut down a magical tree and create a magical wardrobe, have a looking glass, can travel through a rabbit hole, acquire silver slippers, have wizard powers, are a sorcerer's apprentice, and are everyone except Rumpelstiltskin, basically. So every fairy tale you have ever heard of.
And the hat.
Can do all these things.
Yeah, so there are magical elements. I mean, this is similar. Again, I think this follows the trend of most magical stories. In Harry Potter, it's a port key. In this, it's like specific magical, or what's the stupid flu powder? Like there are modes of either transportation or teleportation, and so it's just a matter of what rules that establishes. And this just combines magical elements from a bunch of different stories, and in classic machina form, they just make it so that Rumpel is blocked because it's convenient to the plot. He needs to be separated from his son, so they make his son fall through a portal, and then he has no way of getting back. We're out of beans, sorry Rumpel. Like they just have to make him have an obstacle, which is fine, because if you just accept that and move on, like you get why they need to be like having a parent and child be separated is a pretty classic trope in entertainment. Right. So just like go with it. We'll make some rules to establish why Rumpel's being kept from it, but it has to happen.
Yeah. And then for her last words, season 2 of Once Upon a Time is my favorite season, even though season 5 is great too, which I think is controversial. But most of all, I love the scenes between David and Regina, because the countless versions of Snow White don't deal with the relationship between the prince and the queen. It is always defined by Snow White. Good point. In the first half of season 2, Snow White does almost not matter in Storybrooke, and we finally get to see this relationship, even though Henry does have an important part there. That's really all for now. I'm looking forward to the next episode. Bye.
Fantastic.
And then at the bottom, it says in German that she was sending this from Windows 10, which is
so it's legit. We know it's legit. That was a fantastic email. Might have been one of the maybe longest ones we've gotten, and we love that. That is great. The Storybook Daily Mirror, we will repeat over and over again, is our favorite part of this show. It's like more a favorite to me than watching the episode. Yes. Because I've already seen the episodes, but I've never heard your opinions on them, you people out there, And so every single thing that we get in the Storybook Daily Mirror is a new perspective that makes us go, oh, like that's like experiencing the TV show is like kind of reliving something, and you're like, oh yeah, I guess I remember this. But everything in the Storybook Daily Mirror is new and fresh, and that feels like that's actually making this rewatch more exciting because you guys are involved. So hats off to you. You're all wonderful. We love you. And guess what? We're not even done with the Storybook.
We're not done. Those was just the emails.
We're close. I'm going to blow through these because I just want to kind of get through them really quickly so that we can kind of get into other things. We have someone who wrote in about Jane Espenson. We talk about Jane Espenson all the time. We are Jane Espenson stans in this show. Hey, spoilers. This episode is written by Jane Espenson. We're going to watch that.
Woo!
Oh my God. Okay, so whether you knew this or not, Jane Espenson used to write for Gilmore Girls. I forgot about that. I did know that, but then I forgot.
That's pretty cool.
Gilmore Girls is another Aaron Sorkin style, quippy, very fast-paced script, but it also has very lengthy scripts, which is also an Aaron Sorkin thing. When you write like that, you just end up writing like tons and tons of pages of like really compelling dialogue, and they usually have to shorten them down.
Lorelai Gilmore is one of my favorite people.
Oh God, I love that show so much. That's my Gossip Girl. Gilmore Girls is like my guilty pleasure that I can't.
Okay, I love that.
I can't share because I'll just everybody's take your man card away. Gilmore Girls.
There is no such thing as a guilty pleasure. I stand by that statement.
Yeah.
We love what we love.
You're right, and I love Gilmore Girls.
Great.
It's because the writing is just so tight and smart. I don't care if it's
such
about
a beautiful
girls.
show.
It's smart. It really is.
No, it's a beautiful show.
Yeah. She says that's maybe why the episode Skin Deep is so long and choppy, which would make sense. Like you'd write these like really lengthy episodes and then chop.
She probably had this beautiful idea for the episode.
She did, remember?
And then they cut her off.
Yeah.
They, Oscar awarded speech like cued in the music on her.
Yeah, they did. They played her off to her
Yep.
her acceptance speech. It may also be why her Easter eggs are so literary and random, Anne of Green Gables, because Amy Sherman Palladino, who created Gilmore Girls, also lives in that same like world and writing style of the.
Okay.
You know, other show was written by her, I believe. Bunheads. Did you see Bunheads? Very short-lived show.
Oh, it was on ABC Family. I didn't watch it, but I know what you're talking about. It was about ballerinas.
Ballerinas featuring, if you're a theater fan out there, Sutton Foster. Very, very famous triple threat.
Oh, I forgot about that show.
Singer, dancer. What's the triple threat thing?
Actor.
Stupid ass.
Triple threat.
I'm so fucking dumb.
No. You've had a day.
I have. And Sutton Foster plays like a person who's basically taking younger ballerinas under her wing. She's kind of she's like a Vegas showgirl, and then she moves to this small town. And the mom from Gilmore Girls is on the show too. I mean, there's a lot of like crossover because Amy Sherman Palladino would have grabbed her favorites if they were available. The writing is it's literally like watching a Gilmore Girls spinoff show. It's amazing how that footprint, that template works no matter what you're doing. It's so great. Anyway, yes. Excellent points about Jane Espenson being involved in those projects. That's why I want to have this dialogue in here in Once Upon a Time talking about writers and directors. Everybody talks about showrunners and creators, but nobody gives any, credit to the writers of the episodes. Really do have a big effect on like the tone and the stuff you like,
They write the show.
Yeah, but nobody ever really thinks about that.
I know that it's not glamorous, and I know they're not the actors like playing these parts, but they wrote the part.
Yeah,
they're the skeleton.
They're not the sexy names that people would recognize, but if you start to watch things and see similar patterns, you might realize that a lot of your writers and friends are writing for similar shows. Yeah. Let's see what we have here. Hello, Island Mackie. I'm Audrey from North Carolina. Let's put that in the map. I love listening to your podcast at work, I'm assuming. And I especially love the long episodes, but I was wondering how quickly you guys would forgive Regina / the Evil Queen for what she has done if you were where everyone in Storybrooke is at right now, and if you would back her or still hold her for what she's done.
Unfortunately, one of my flaws is that I forgive everyone for everything, so I would probably forgive Regina.
One of my flaws is I am really petty and hold grudges.
I'm petty, but I eventually get over it and I do forgive. So I would not be there with a pitchfork at her front door.
No. I wouldn't get involved in that nonsense. There's no way.
But I would probably have some like snide bitchy comments to her at the diner every so often.
I don't even think I would go that far. I would turn to you and talk shit to you about her. That's how I would deal with it.
Yeah, no, I would probably say some shit because she's in a position where I could at this point, but then I would eventually feel bad that like her son was, abandoned her. And
I watch too many movies where the person who's loud talking shit is just waiting for the tide to turn in the other direction and then to get overtaken. You know what I mean? It's always the weak guy to be like, ha, like we got you finally, and then that person then becomes this tyrant, and then I watch that too many times, and that's to me is just embarrassing. Like you're talking a lot of shit and then you get beat. So to me, I will just talk to my friends about.
But I would forgive her.
I think so too. I would. I think it depends on her reaction to all this. You know what I mean?
She has to put in the work, obviously.
So I forgive people who put in the work to earn forgiveness. And we will learn about how Regina what she decides to do, how much, if she does decide to earn it, how much does she decide to earn it, and how genuine that is. But I very much I treat people as best I can at face value today. That being said, I got a lot of major trust issues.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So I would forgive her, but I don't think the relationship would ever be the same. I don't think I would be able to like fully trust her. I would always be looking over my shoulder wondering if that's going to wear off. But I think people deserve to be given the chance to try to redeem. And if they want to
I would say, when is your first appointment with Archie?
Archie with therapy.
You need to get yourself checked out because my lighting is all of a sudden not cooperating with me right now.
It's all good. I've been blue for a little while, so it's all good. Would you hold her for what she's done? I always hold people responsible for what they do, but
you need to be held accountable.
But being held accountable for past actions, I do not believe is fair to inform future predictions and like you shouldn't be held accountable for what you're going to do based on what you have done. Mm-hmm. Now I might expect you to follow the same pattern, but I always think that there's an opening for someone to surprise me and be better than what they were yesterday. But I simply assume they will and disappoint me, and then when I'm right. But like I like to be wrong. I like to assume disappointment and then be pleasantly surprised when people don't disappoint me. That seems to be working better now.
Okay.
That's because I'm jaded and I've been hurt too many times. Can you tell?
To answer your question, Audrey, we are very fluid in our forgiveness at this current moment in time in our lives.
Yeah. Talk to us in a few months. It changes every.
Check back at season 3 and we'll see how we're feeling about Regina.
It'll very much inform what our personal lives are going through if in 3 months we change our tune. How forgiving we are. Maybe less. Who knows? Let's see. We have a repeat texter. It's Caroline.
Hi, Caroline.
I'm sorry I didn't say my name in my previous text. It's okay. We figured it out. Your response filled me with so much joy. I just finished season 1 finale and y'all killed it. I am planning to go watch it when I get home. I got all the feels. 1,000 Mr. Gold's gold stars to you both.
Oh, what an award for us.
Off to listen to season 2, episode 1. Stay Rumple homies. Thank you, Caroline.
Aw, thanks, Caroline.
We appreciate it.
Caroline also was one of the first brookies to use our Stay Gold, Stay Rumple Snapchat filter. So again, we're going to say it. Be like Caroline. Go use that filter and show us because we want to see.
That's right. We got our last text message closing in on the end of Storybook Daily Mirror. I'm Megan in Oklahoma.
Wow.
Got someone new.
Is that Midwest?
I believe that qualifies as Midwest, right? That's right. Well, that's Tornado Alley.
Well, we're both really great at geography, so
I don't care.
We're really good at it.
Just tell me I'm wrong and we'll move on.
I'm gonna consider it Midwest.
Oklahoma, is Oklahoma below Kentucky? No, Oklahoma's below Nebraska.
If I was looking at a map and you told me to find Oklahoma, I would throw a dart.
Oklahoma's an easy one because it's shaped like a pan. It's above Texas. That one I know. That's the only one I'm
talking about.
Now, what's above Oklahoma? I don't know. I think it's Nebraska, but I could be wrong about that.
It's shaped like a pan?
Yeah, it's got a skinny thing and then a big dip inside. It's like the Big Dipper.
Huh. Who
The fucking
knew?
worst. We were so dumb.
Genuinely, if I saw a map and somebody was like Oklahoma, I'd be like, okay, wherever that lands, we're gonna call it Oklahoma.
You like South Dakota or something. I know North and South Dakota. I know Montana. I know Oklahoma because those are easy because they're like right in the middle. And then Montana's friggin' enormous. Just a giant fucking rectangle up by Washington.
Honestly, if somebody told me to name all 50 states, I probably couldn't do that.
Oh,
either.
yeah, no.
Like that.
There are people.
The public education system truly failed me.
Again, America failing again.
I am like dumb. If you want to talk about books, I am dumb.
Forget it.
DUMB.
It's not happening. Megan in Oklahoma, we're like just... We're like, Oklahoma, I don't care where your state is. I'm stupid. Like, Megan, we love that you're from Oklahoma. We're not trying to trash your place of, I mean, I could say birth, I guess. We
also shit on Ohio for a solid 30 minutes on one episode. So
listen, I will stand by that. Ohio sucks. People from Ohio know that Ohio sucks. That's the one that I'm going to I will die on that hill. And I say that with some very close friends who are from Ohio. My brother's wife is from Ohio.
We love the sister-in-law of
and
the
she's cool as
family.
Shit. And it actually is often that people, you know why? It's because the cool people who live in Ohio fucking leave Ohio because it sucks. I'm just saying. All the cool people from Ohio that I know don't live in Ohio anymore. They live someplace
Megan, we're
else.
not hating on Oklahoma. I don't know anything about it. I know that there's a movie called Oklahoma with some cows.
There's also a show called Oklahoma, which is what that movie is based on.
I know.
Wait, no, is the play based on the movie?
It's not called Oklahoma. It's called like Home or some shit.
No, it's called Oklahoma. Oklahoma with the big exclamation point.
No, I'm talking about the one with the cows.
Right?
Home movie.
All right. Anyway, we're again off track. All Megan is trying to say is that she loves the show. She said just finished.
I was so wrong. What is this?
Oh God, what is that? Y'all, what the hell did you just show me?
I just accidentally added that to my pictures.
Oh my God, we're okay.
Okay, Megan, what's up? What did you text us about?
I love this show. I just want to tell you guys that. That's not what she said. Mackie is saying that about our show because I'm narcissistic. But Megan does say, I love this show, exclamation point. Just finished Gilmore Guys? Are you saying
it's a podcast about Gilmore Girls.
Oh, really? I didn't know that. That's dope. And before wait, what? I need to watch that. I mean, listen to it.
I'm pretty sure they do what the Office ladies are doing and what we are doing.
I need to. Okay. Wow. I have homework now. Thanks, Megan.
Yeah.
Before I could grieve that because she just finished. I found you guys by searching for the only other show I binge on repeat. Once Upon a Time. Thank you for being here. And you know what I love about the Once Upon a Time fans? That they're very loyal to rewatches, and that's kind of how we're getting found, is because when people go to rewatch, they look for they're like, oh, I'm starting the rewatch again, and then they find us that way. Like, it's nice that you guys keep coming back to this show. I mean, that's gotta say something, right? That people just love like re-experiencing it. I mean, even
the haters up.
Yeah. Yes, also true. All of them. Don't give it enough credit. But like I didn't finish. I didn't end up finishing the last season and it's literally, I was in the middle of doing it and then we started the show and I was like, let me stop and go back. But I'm rewatching all of it after having watched it over the last couple of years. It wasn't even 10 years ago for me. It was only a couple years ago for me. So like, there's something just redoable about this show that's just so refreshing and so nice. And you feel like you get something different every time. Same with Lost. There's a couple shows that are like, and Once Upon a Time just has that reputation. Megan continues, love that you incorporate Lost because I occasionally see the mysterious island in this show. And in the second season, it feels particularly rude when they use it. Nice. And I don't know if you've talked about it before, but I love how Ginny Goodwin stars in He's Just Not That Into You.
He's Just Not That Into You.
Sad single girl?
Yeah.
Really?
Okay, that's a really good movie.
I gotta go back and I feel like I've seen it. I gotta go back and watch it again.
It's one of those movies that came out in this time period, you know, like 2010 to like 2015, where they tried to get as many A-list stars as they could and fit them into like Valentine's Day.
Oh
with
God,
like Zac
that's such a
Efron
good
and all of them.
movie.
You know what? So those movies where they just grabbed anyone and everyone that was available and they were like, let's make a movie.
Yeah, I love
That's
that. And,
he's just not that into you. And Guinea Good does play a mopey, sad single girl.
oh my God, maybe we can make that one of our movie club movies.
It's a really good movie.
That would be great.
You would like it.
We're definitely gonna do. Or okay, at the very least, we've talked about this too, but we could also like do a Discord movie watch party.
Yes.
We can do it that way too if we don't want to do like a full review, and we could just watch it and just talk. Goes on to star in this show and meets her literal Prince Charming, who is completely enamored by her. Oh, I will never get tired of that love story.
In the show and in real life.
I will never get tired of that. Love that journey for her and love you guys. Megan from Oklahoma, thank you so much.
Thank you, Megan from Oklahoma.
Please come back.
That may be.
All of you, please come back and continue to participate in the Storybook Daily Mirror. Keep texting us, keep emailing us. For those of you who don't mind the sound of your own voice, keep sending us voicemails. And if you feel like reviewing the show and you're new here, please do. It helps us tremendously to get found, just like you guys have found us by randomly searching. And last but not least, in the Storybook Daily Mirror, we have finally closing it out. We have some DMs from the Instagram. What do you got?
I have to be honest with you right now.
Please do.
I'm looking up what Oklahoma is known for and not pulling up the Instagram DMs.
Being flat, I believe, is its pretty much number one well-known thing.
I literally Googled what is Oklahoma known for.
Overalls? That's really offensive.
Oh my gosh.
Oh man, this
so
would be
they
a good
have
time for a Jeopardy sound.
I know, right? Famous Oklahomians. What? Reba McEntire?
Sure, I believe that. It's about as country as it
My
gets.
girl? A single mom who works too hard, who loves her kids and never stops?
Oh, man.
Okay, Megan, you're gonna have to help us. Oh, Garth Brooks is also from Oklahoma, and their state animal is a bison.
Oh yeah. Do you remember
Capital,
the
Oklahoma City. Megan, can you help us out and tell us some fun facts about Ohio? Because the main page for this is not selling it.
Dear God, Oklahoma, not Ohio. There are no fun facts about Ohio. So do you know when you go into Living with the Land and you turn the corner and you get that first prayer when you get past the rainforest, and then they're like, oh, and then in the prairies and blah, 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 and you see the little gophers come up, and there's like a house on the left, and then there's like a bison like eating grass. That's Oklahoma. Yeah, see? Straight up.
Look at this little baby cutie.
Yeah, they have very cute animals. It's very flat, and they grow a lot of stuff in Oklahoma.
Oh my gosh, it's so cutesy. Okay, let me get back to
the
show that we're actually doing.
Or corn. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to our Oklahoma section of the show, where we just talk about random facts about the state of Oklahoma.
Every time you guys tell us something about where you're from, we're gonna...
This will be the Where Are You From section, where we give you
so
the
for Twitter DMs
facts that we know about the place you live.
We have one DM from Felipa.
One DM from Felipa.
And you know what? It's funny. We're not gonna get into it too much. But she asked me love myself. She asked me and Mackie a question.
Yeah,
me and
you
Mac.
answered. Don't say Mac.
She asked, "How do we know each other? How did our friendship start? Would love to know about your origin story." So I have decided.
There was a stork, and it brought the two of us as babies together in the same little hangar. And then...
If you have RSVP'd to a wedding in the last 5 years, you know that everything is done electronically now on the website The Knot. So I am writing a The Knot style how we met for me and Mackie, because we are the same human being. And you can catch that only on Patreon. So all of our patrons will see that tomorrow morning. And if you would like to, when you're listening to this and you think, oh my God, I would love to know how Isla and Mackie met, head on over to Patreon and you'll see
extra bonus features,
a nice, beautiful story, and also a lovely picture of us and our significant others.
Oh my God, that's so lovely.
So thanks, Bia, for asking that, Bia Felipa, because actually it's funny to think about how
we talk about it a lot.
Happened.
We talk about it frequently because we're really, really close now after a very relatively short period of time. We talk every day, like literally every day.
From sun up till sundown.
And all day long. Like, yeah. So it's interesting because every once in a while we'd be like, how did we get like this?
Yeah.
So if you're interested in finding out, there you go.
Shameless plug.
Shameless plug for our paid content.
And guys, guess what? We did it.
That is the end of the Storybrooke Daily Mirror.
Take us home, boys.
Oh my goodness. All right, let's get through the show pre-show. Let's see what we can get done here. This episode is season 2, episode 2, called Broken. Now, remember we talked last week about the fact that this is supposed to be the first episode, and sorry, not broken.
It's not.
The first episode is broken.
This is We Are Both.
The second episode is called We Are Both, and it's interesting that the second episode being first would have actually made the joke that we kept making of
It's
We
even,
Are Both
yeah,
broken.
like it even makes more sense
Yeah.
that if it was interesting.
So like I didn't pick up on that last week. We kept talking about
Until
those
you
two
just
things
said it out
separately.
loud.
Yeah, like we made the joke and then we kept saying, well, episode 2 is supposed to be first. But this is episode 2, We Are Both, supposed to be episode 1, and then episode 2 would have been broken. We have a character backstory again. It's the Evil Queen. In fact, I have it somewhere down in the production notes, but this is the very first episode. This is pulling something from Lost here, right? Very first episode where we have both a flashback of the Enchanted Forest and a present day scene of the Enchanted Forest in one episode. So we actually have three kind of locations for the most part. October 7th, 2012. We are now almost a clear year away from the season premiere, which was October 23rd, I want to say. So yeah, October 7th, 2012. Written by Jane Espenson, our OG, and directed by Dean White, our Snow Charming season finale award-winning, I assume, director. We got here 9.84 million people. So down significantly from the 11 point something that we had last week. So yeah, there's that. Synopsis.
I don't know how. It was incredible.
Because that season premiere was incredible, but whatever. At least we're at nines. Guys, it doesn't get better than that. That's really unfortunate. While Regina continues to find a way to regain her magical powers, David continues his quest to uncover the whereabouts of Mary Margaret and Emma, and the 7 dwarves discover what happens to any of the townspeople that try to step past the city limits of Storybrooke. They're all starting to figure out that it's just not a normal town, right? In the fairy tale land, as her wedding day to King Leopold approaches, we're going to get the return of Mr. Oh, God, I forgot his name again. Toby.
Okay.
Forgot his name.
King Leopold.
Love him so much. Regina is confronted by a man of magic. A man of magic. Who promises to help her become independent and break free from her mother Cora's clutches, which means...
Oh, it's got to be Rumpel.
That we're going further back in Regina's timeline, I think, than we ever have, I believe.
Well, no, because we saw her before this.
Oh, I'm sorry. That's wrong. The flashback takes place after the last... the whatever, like 3 episodes.
So it takes place almost immediately after she talked to
because
Baby
she's supposed
Snow.
to be that's right. She doesn't love King Leopold. She loves Daniel,
she's getting ready for
now she's getting ready to get married to him.
She's getting ready for her wedding to King Leopold.
Oh my God, Richard Schiff is his name. I was not going to let Richard down. He's listening and he's like, this asshole forgot my fucking name.
I know.
So now we talk about production notes. We got some good ones. Let's talk about deleted scenes. We have one. Let me set the scene. Oh, I need another music cue for that. All right. So David is seen looking at Jefferson's hat, which is interesting because that's a transport device, right? Magical transport. When a call comes in on Mary Margaret's house phone, Henry comes downstairs to see who it was, only for David to say that he just wanted to hear her voice on the answering machine. It's really cute. Henry states calmly that David will find them because he's a prince. Then they share Pop-Tarts before David leaves, which is like the cutest little end to that. We got another one. A few Storybook residents are shown adjusting to their new dual reality with Dr. Whale absconding to the hospital laboratory and Dr. Archie Hopper seeing Geppetto's petrified parents in the window of Mr.
Oh
Gault's.
my gosh.
Oh no. Guys, let's go on a journey and see what the hell absconding means. Because
Thank you. I can't even believe you were able to say that.
Yeah, I recognize the word, but I don't know what it means. It says to leave hurriedly and secretly, typically to avoid detection of or arrest for an unlawful action such as theft. So he leaves.
Yeah, because he's creepy.
He leaves
because nobody
the
knows who he
hospital,
is.
but somewhat suspiciously, I suppose.
Yeah, he's a creep.
Let's see. The title card features magical branches that were used in Cora's spell. It's funny because we just last saw magical branches come out of the wall in the last episode. Regina did it to David. So I wonder if it's going to be like similar. The episode's title is taken from David's speech. I assume we'll figure this out when we see David give a speech, referring to the residents of Storybrooke, past memories and present ones coming together. We are both. I will talk about the actual line where it is later when right before we watch the episode. We already talked about flashbacks in present day. Leroy says, "It's off to work we go." Obviously, it's a reference to Hi Ho, the song. It's off to work we go. I like stuff like that. I know it's very obvious, but it always makes me chuckle. This is one of my favorite ones. I don't know why I always like this. I studied Shakespeare a lot in school because when you're in theater, like that's a really big thing that you study. You study a lot of Shakespeare. You study a lot of King Lear. A lot of these like old classics, right? So there's a pause and read. I guess it's like Marco, it's some kind of bulletin board, right? And on the bulletin board, there's a bunch of stuff on it. And when you actually look at them, a ton of literary references, specifically Shakespeare. One, desperately looking for Peas Blossom. Peas Blossom is a character. It's a fairy, a lead fairy in Midsummer Night's Dream, which we talked about why specifically Shakespeare's Midsummer Night's Dream is such a wonderful analogy to Once Upon a Time, because they have all these weird antics happen and then they wake up from a dream. Although it really happened, the fairies just kind of convinced them that it was a dream, right? They kind of enchanted them into thinking that the crazy thing, because the fairies were like really messing with them and like making them all crazy, and then just convinced them that, oh, we were just dreaming. Pyramus and Thisbe Come Home is one of the things on the bulletin board, which is a reference to, it's a play within a play, right? So it's a reference to these doomed lovers. It's supposed to be Romeo and Juliet, right? It's Ovid's Metamorphosis is the story, which is a retelling of, again, that Romeo and Juliet story of these doomed lovers who one of them poisons themselves and the other one wakes up. Same Romeo and Juliet story we know. But in this case, their names are Pyramus and Thisbe. In Midsummer Night's Dream, remember I told you about the guy who turns into a donkey? His like head turns into a donkey. And then they are just like the players that travel from town to town and put on shows. Well, when they get in front of the king, they put on the play of Pyramus and Thisbe and play out that play version of the Ovid story within Midsummer. Like one of the scenes is them putting on a play, which is kind of cool. And the Pyramus and Thisbe with that, besmirched lover thing was supposed to mimic what you just saw with the other two couples of people fighting over who's who, and then like they end up with the wrong people. It's all supposed to kind of echo itself. There is a sign that begins "Dearest Cressida." Cressida is a character that appears in a lot of medieval and Renaissance kind of retellings of essentially the Trojan War. And there is a Shakespeare play called Troilus and Cressida that talks about Trojan War-y stuff. On the notice board opposite Marco's, it says the name Titania shows up. Titania is the queen of the fairies, who is Peas Blossom's boss. All midsummer jokes and like general Shakespeare jokes. So for any of you literary Shakespeare people, you'll appreciate that last segment. If you don't, I hope you skipped it because that was probably boring. While brushing young Snow White's hair, Regina... so dark. Regina fantasizes about magically strangling the young girl with a necklace. It's a reference, which I didn't realize, a reference to the Snow White fairy tale, where apparently the evil queen disguises herself as a peddler. We knew that part. Attempts to kill Snow White by offering her a corset lace and laces it so tight that she can't breathe. There's like not even any magic involved in that. That's screwed up. Like,
Just pure murder.
They're like, I'm just gonna pull these laces until you die. Like,
Right, to a
crazy.
child.
When Jefferson is rescued from his car by David, spoilers, he comes out of the wreckage clutching a stuffed bunny. It's a reference to the White Rabbit and the March Hare from Alice in Wonderland. He also has a deluxe tea set scattered on the ground. It references the imaginary tea parties that Grace used to throw with her stuffed animals and the Hatter's Tea Party in the novel. So obviously just a lot of Alice in Wonderland stuff going on with Jefferson. Regina is giving a looking glass, speaking of Alice in Wonderland, from Rumpelstiltskin to send her mother away. That's one of, and we've already seen examples of like the looking glass being used to like trap the prince and stuff.
Yeah.
But we're going to find out where Regina got the looking glass from in the first place. And the fact that it is a looking glass that transports you somewhere else is a nod to like the book that Alice in Wonderland is based on, which is Lewis Carroll's book. Through the Looking Glass. Regina says to Henry, of all the places I've seen, this is the fairest of them all. We get it. In his speech, David uses the line, live in a shoe if you want. Again, we get it. There was an old woman who lived in a shoe. I got it. Mr. Clark, don't know who that is, states that he is the owner of the Dark Star Pharmacy. This has come up before. I don't know if you remember. Edward Kitsis is a huge fan of the Grateful Dead, and Dark Star is the name of one of Grateful Dead's songs. So he okay. Yeah. After Regina takes back her mother's old spell book for Mr. Gold, he warns her against the potential effects of the book's magic. She responds, I don't care if they turn me green, which is a reference, obviously, to the Wicked Witch of the West from Wizard of Oz. Lovely. I really, really like that one a lot. The wiki, very, very sassily, says in parentheses, in the novel, it is never stated that the character has green skin. Also, shut up.
That has green skin. Thank you so much.
Yes,
have you ever listened to No One Mourns the Wicked? Have a good day. Bye.
Yeah, goodbye. I have a note in here for me to look at the wiki for book. Oh, okay. So there's
the baby's coming.
Hi, baby.
It's a perfect.
Where is it? There. Okay, here. There's a spell book that Regina flips through, and the entire we talked about in episode 1 that the sign that the symbol on the medallion for the wraith is a alchemy symbol that goes back to arsenic. That goes to the swan. Well, the spell book that Regina flips through, apparently they use some more alchemy symbols that are like fusion and flowing and melting. Alchemy is all about changing metals into other things, right? Like that's how you create gold and all this stuff. So alchemy is like weird. It's a lot of verbs. It's a lot of like the way that you combine things together. So like fusion is bringing things together. Flowing is like friction, like moving things over something else, and melting. So it's just like different transformations of stuff. So the like alchemy process, each one of those things has a very specific symbol so that you can remember which combination of things create what. Yeah. Something like that. I'm not really like an alchemy expert, but that's kind of the general idea. They actually list all of the things that it goes into: filtration, fixation, all these alchemy stuff. And then there's like in the book, there's also, it talks about the emerald tablet, which is another kind of like emerald. It's another green witch thing from Wizard of Oz. Apparently there are different kinds of alchemy, just like there are different kinds of martial arts. There are different kinds of witchcraft, right? Western and Eastern. Well, the emerald tablet is Western alchemy specifically. And there's some interpretations here of these symbols. There's astrological symbols in there, Aries and Gemini and Leo are pointed out. And there's a lot of like things about God. So it's like kind of an amalgam of a bunch of different spiritual and philosophical and scientific combination of all of those things, which all of those in that, I say that day because I know this is present day, I get it, but like in the days of like conjuring up stuff before technology, right? The olden actual medieval days. These were the things that were mysterious. These were the things that like, this is basically magic. Religion, magic. Theology and philosophy, magic. Alchemy, magic. It was all that's like kind of, so it's kind of a really nice nod to, I suppose, the magics of the past, right? Right. Of the things that people did that make a lot of sense, but back then it was all witchcraft to them. Right. That was a lot of words for not a lot of payoff. Whatever. There's a bunch of weird shit in her book. That's really all that note was for. I don't know why I felt it compelled to talk about it, but I don't know. It's time for Isla's favorite part of the show. Let's talk brands. All right, so I'll start it off. We have some Brandon artwork. This is an artwork specific note. So the picture hanging on the wall in Regina's hallway is Erica Ampulicea. Oh, I think I got that right. By the early 19th century English botanist Henry Charles Andrews. It's from a book called Colored Engravings of Heaths, Volume 1. Erica Ampulicea is an African plant species of the heather genus Erica. Gee, thanks, Wiki. Back to you. Isla, take it away.
The artworks, the picture over the bed in August's room at the inn is The Gladoli by William E. Powell, an English watercolor painter and illustrator who lived from 1878 to 1955.
Oh my God.
Along
nice.
with those artworks, there is a lamp by the fireplace in Regina's living room. It is a Regina Andrew design quatrefoil drum lamp.
What are the chances that it's named Regina? Am I right?
I know.
Am I right? Okay. Ruby apparently is wearing Alternative Ladies Burnout Tank from Alternative Apparel, no longer available. Oh, that's sad. And a pair of harness boots from Fry.
The Evil Queen's shoes are Wonder Everest shoes from John Luvog, unfortunately also no longer available.
Oh, so sad. I hate when they're no longer available. Belle, it seems, wore the same shoes when she was Rumpelstiltskin's maid in the season 1 episode Skin Deep. We're reusing props there. Okay, I see that. It also looks like Regina is wearing a woman's black structured pencil dress from Burberry. High roller over here. Also, no longer available, sadly.
And to close out things, Cora's necklace is a Silver Grey Gardens petal necklace by Alexis Bitar, unfortunately again no longer available. She continues to wear this necklace in Lady of the Lake, The Crocodile, Into the Deep, Queen of Hearts, and In the Name of the Brother. And that is brand info brought to you by
Brands of the World. And Island Mickey.
Drive Shaft.
Storybook Circus and Drive Shaft. Thank you very much, everyone. There you go. It's your brand info section. If you want some brand ASMR from Isla and Mackie, there you go. You got it. You got it. You have a very soothing elevator voice, by the way. I like the fact that we're doing this back and forth now. It feels good. It feels like we have our own QVC channel. I really like it.
I know, right? Let's sell some necklaces.
That's amazing. All right. We have one more section to go before we get into episode talk. And that is the Lost segment of the show. So the show creators of Once Upon a Time, Edward Kitsis and Adam Horowitz, served as writers and executive producers on ABC's Lost, in case you didn't know that. And Once Upon a Time is filled with Easter eggs and references to the show creators' old show. So let's talk about what it is on this episode. We only have one. We have Dopey, who is, again, wearing a Geronimo Jackson t-shirt.
I have a real issue with this. Like, I'm starting to get, angry about it. I feel like Drive Shaft has been shafted.
And also, bro, wash the shirt every once in a while. Like, this is the only shirt you got?
You all, everybody. Where's that shirt? You
all, everybody. Yeah, where's Drive Shaft, for real? I don't know that Drive Shaft ever ends up outside the lore, which is crazy that you'd put Easter eggs and stuff and not use Drive Shaft ever. Not even once.
Edward, Adam, do you have a minute? We have some comments.
Yeah, we'll figure that out. We'll sort it out. We'll get them on the line. So now it's time to start watching the episode. Watch party time. We have a few features of our watch party section that we'd like to make you aware of. We have a drinking game we like to play. We tried to set some rules during season 1, and it turns out the drinking game is just as fun to make up on the fly. So we use our season 1 rules sparingly. Occasionally, if we remember them. There's easy things like seeing apples and references to magic. Someone brought up the other day to anytime Leroy or Grumpy says sister, things that we see repeating a lot. People crashing in front of the stupid Storybook sign. It's going to happen until the end of the show. So if you hear this bell, go ahead and drink a beverage of your choice. Tea, water, an adult
coffee.
Beverage. If you are of age, please feel free. Drink responsibly. Thank you.
Show your ID to the bouncer at the door.
That's right. That's right. We run a respectable establishment. Thank you very much. We also have a lighter version of that, a little drink clink. You can just, if you don't have someone to to do it with. It's just kind of
Cheers yourself.
yeah, just a little tap.
Or us. Cheers us. We will cheers back with you.
Yeah, I like that. And that is to call out anything that we've already talked about, all of our production notes or little random
Whatever
things that
we
have come
feel
up.
like, honestly.
Yeah, drink clinks are really for like, it's not like strong enough for a bell.
It's a moment.
But it's like I
It's
just
a
want to
moment.
acknowledge it. We also have a feature in case you happen to watch the show synced with us, or you just want to be able to hear whether or not I started and stopped the show. We have that lovely wind sound to let you know that I have played or paused the episode so that you can follow along. And we also have dear friend of the show,
It's rewind time.
Fresh Prince
Thank
of
you,
Bel
Will.
Air himself. We got Will Smith telling you that it's rewind time in case we have to go back and review something, or generally just sometimes it's an excuse to make a record scratch in the middle of watching the show. Will Smith will tell you that it's rewind time. So that's how we roll when we watch this show. So we have one big drink moment. Every drinking game has the chug your drink, or finish your drink or whatever. Ours is when we hear the reference to the episode title. In this case, we mentioned it in the production notes. David has a speech. This is a weird one. He says, "You are both. The town is both. We are both." What the hell does that mean?
I want to clarify something. I think there was some confusion in the Discord.
Oh, okay.
People think we come up with these.
Oh.
What the title is referencing.
Is that right? I didn't see that.
Yes.
Interesting.
So Mel brought it up the other day. She was like, "Can we make the title of Broken the carrier pigeon, the postcard that the carrier pigeon brought, because it literally said
Says
broken."
the word broken, yeah.
I completely agree with her. That would have been so much better. We do this based on what the writers actually wrote in what the title card, what line the title is in reference to.
Right. Yeah. That is,
so we don't make these up. So when they're weird, that's not us.
It's not on us. Yeah, that is
that we would not pick this line. We wouldn't have picked what
the curse.
Grumpy
It's broken?
said last week.
I still can't believe it was Grumpy. That tripped me up so bad.
Yeah. So
Everybody
that
lost
is
their money.
actually from the creators of the show, not us.
Yes.
So we find it because it's an Easter egg not an Easter egg, but you know what I mean? Like it's something that came from the show.
Yeah. It's listed on the
And this
on the
week it's
interwebs.
"You are both, the town is both, we are both" by David, whatever the hell that
I
means.
mean, that's a
So I
weird
guess we'll
phrasing. That's very,
find
very
out.
odd. But that's the line. So, yeah, I guess it's time to watch episode 2. We are both broken.